Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for another Hamiltonian Systems webinar. Very excited about today's topic, optimizing MRO inventory without min-max or guesswork. We'll be going over some of the methodology around which we built our tool, the MRO Optimizer, and some of the details around how we're leveraging machine learning to be able to create process efficiencies and reduce manual work to deliver ROI. A reminder to everyone who has RSVP'd for today's webinar that they will receive a recording of the webinar by email once it is available. And without further ado, let's get started. My name is William Palmer. I've been with Hamiltonian Systems in business development for the last 2-ish years, helping our supply chain customers overcome data challenges of various types and leverage the new technology that we have built into our products to be able to drive more process efficiencies and see better bottom line results. And our main speaker today is Ravi Venkatraman. He is the CEO and founder of Hamiltonian Systems, and he's also my boss. He is a technology expert with decades of experience in helping Fortune 500 companies and regional manufacturers get the most out of their data, their ERPs, their applications, their machinery, you name it. He has developed specific expertise around AI and machine learning, as well as IoT in recent years, and he has a background in consulting for Deloitte in their Oracle practice. Ravi founded Hamiltonian Systems just over 17 years ago, and since then has been working with customers across industries to help them in maintenance, especially around EAM, as well as in the supply chain and manufacturing. In recent years, we, along with Oracle and the rest of the world, have focused on the newer cutting-edge technologies, including driving cloud adoption with our platform Kaseya and IoT adoption with our IoT platform Moongill. We are headquartered here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and we have software development teams working remotely from their homes across the world in both the US and India. And without further ado, I will pass it off to Ravi.
Okay, thank you, Will. Thanks for the introductions. So, anyway, thanks for joining the webinar today. I know that it's kind of like a difficult time for everybody, and at the same time, it gives us opportunity to spend more time with our families. And we just look at the positive side of things, right? Which you have missed out in the past because of our working and other things. So right now we get more opportunity for doing such kind of things. And also, thanks for taking time in the middle of everything to attend this webinar today. So today I'm going to be talking about primarily MRO optimization. And MRO, we all know, it's maintenance, repair, operations, primarily the maintenance parts. So it has different terminologies, but MRO primarily means MRO primarily means maintenance parts. So we are going to review like where other companies are in this journey briefly, and then we are going to talk about some of the strategies which you might be already using. Many of you will be using something or other, okay? And I know that like there are a lot of Oracle EBS customers here. So Oracle EBS customers, most of them whom I know, are using min-max. So we decided to like go over the min-max process a little bit deeper, because that may help you understand how you can optimize your min-max, and then how the optimizer works with the min-max, okay, and so on. And then we will go over the demo of MRO Optimizer, which runs on our Kaseya platform. And then I will primarily go into the optimization itself. What exactly is the optimization and how we do. There is a stage 1 and stage 2, those things. And we cannot stress the importance of we all that, but I'll just touch upon the importance of some of the data elements needed for this. And then how do we measure that our optimizing, how do we measure that our optimization is working okay? So, and then what changes do we do across? So we got to measure what we do. So that is going to be the agenda today. And after that, there will be time for questions. And you can also send your question and answers through this webinar, and will be collecting them. And he will be able to um, post them for us later at the end of the seminar. Okay. Okay, so as far as the current industry status goes, this information is from a book called Strategic MRO, a roadmap for transforming assets into strategic advantage. That is the source for this information. So there the authors have interviewed a lot of companies, maybe hundreds of companies, and they came up with 35 different points of where people are with their MRO, and whether for some people it is important, whether for some people it is not important, and why it is important. Like that, they ask multiple questions, and they kind of like put them into 35 different buckets, out of which I have taken like 7 buckets for our review today. So if you really look at the number 1 and number 4, for those people, they don't really care. Okay, for them, they're just deep down in other problems. They're not even like asset life cycle is not even like their worry right now. So when it goes to number 7, the companies which are in this stage, they do care, but what is happening is they are looking more at the short-term wins than the overall long-term strategy. Primarily because their business is either struggling or they got to do something with that, so they are looking at the short-term wins more than the long-term gains. But still, they want to go over into this journey at some point or other. So starting with number 16, 19, 22, and 35, these kind of companies, they do have good programs for maintenance, for tracking assets, for like doing preventive maintenance programs and other work orders and so on. But what is happening there is their maintenance maturity level is not like gone pretty high, that they are not able to measure their performance, primarily because of lack of data itself. See, they are doing work orders for several years, but they have never put in some kind of a reporting system or any type of measurement system to do this. But their primary interest is to certainly be able to manage their assets much better, like implement an asset reliability program and improve the PMs and predictive maintenance and condition-based monitoring, all that, and also manage MRO in a way that their company runs smoothly. Okay, so if you really talk about the supply chain, primarily when we look at the whole supply chain as a landscape, we have the suppliers and we have the customers, and all the things what we do in between, either it is manufacturing or logistics. This whole thing is called the supply chain, and the supply chain throughput primarily starts from the customer, starts from the suppliers and ends with the customers, and then again it goes back because they buy again, and it goes back to suppliers again. So this keeps going like this. But most of the companies have not really integrated their maintenance related activities to this supply chain, and they are wanting to do that. Those are the companies I talked about from number 16 to 35. Okay, so all the companies focus on customers, because without customers we don't have business. So obviously we do focus on customers, and then this is offering what we do, our services, our products, and whatever we do, those are our offerings is number 2. Then they start focusing on that. And then what happens at some point, they think that assets not their assets are not functioning properly, their product quality is going down, or they're having frequent breakdowns, their overall equipment effectivity is not good. Then they start looking at maintenance planning as a solution. And at that point, what happened, they start with reactive methods, and then eventually grow and then evolve into your PMs and predictive and so on. So in this process, when they do the maintenance activities, then you need the supplier parts. So always the supplier parts goes as a last one in the supply chain. But however, if you really look at it, if you want your equipment to function very effectively, if you want your asset reliability to be very high, then there is the smaller supply chain, which is called the MRO supply chain, which should be managed very effectively, and then it should be integrated with the bigger supply chain. Then this whole integrated supply chain is optimized. And as part of this optimization, you make good quality products consistently all the time, and then you are able to ship to your customers your products on time, having the managing the customer satisfaction, and you are able to do it at a lower cost and then make more profits. That is the fundamental aspect of this optimizing your entire supply chain, and MRO supply chain plays a big role in that. That's the kind of like message which I'm trying to give in this slide. Then we talked about the MRO replenishment options. Obviously, when it comes to maintenance, we cannot predict the demand. We don't know when a particular piece of equipment is going to break, and then what kind of parts you need, and when you need, and how much of them you need, and so on. So we have these methods, the replenishment strategies. We have many of them, starting with min-max and like reorder planning, replenishment count, and even vendor managed inventory and consignment inventory, and so on. So all these processes, what they do is they kind of like all these replenishment strategies, they work on checking your balances, then they will reorder, then supply comes, and then they restock, and then go back to rechecking, ordering, supplying, stocking, and so on, right? But what exactly happens in all these is you don't know the quantity, you don't know the frequency. Okay, they keep varying. Either the frequency varies, or the quantity varies, or both of them varies. So all these methods have some level of intelligence to manage that variability. And like for example, replenishment counts works in a little bit different way when it comes to min-max. And advanced supply chain planning works in a even more different way. It has more inputs to that, and so on. So all of them try to adjust to this variability and all that. But however, like what exactly is happening is you still cannot predict the demand. Okay, if you know the demand, then you are good. So what is the best strategy? The best strategy is, we call a magician. Okay, that person is going to produce the part somehow whenever there is an actual demand. So an asset breaks down right now, and you look for it, and there is a part in your storeroom, you immediately go and fix it, and this is what you really want. And is that possible? Is a magician available? And I'm going to say yes. That magician is basically machine learning. That magician is available, but what happens is that this magician is not a random magician. Okay, this magician is going to use data. So as we put in more data, as we build in reliable data, which I'm going to talk about what is the data needed and so on, then your machine learning gets better and better. This magician becomes better and better. Okay. So as I said, most of us have been using like min-max. In fact, 95% of our customers are using min-max, or they have used min-max for MRO replenishment. So I wanted to talk about that. So, and I'm going to specifically talk about some of the functional gaps in Oracle. So when I say Oracle, it is applicable to your Oracle EBS, which is release 12.13 and release 12.2x, and also your cloud. Okay, even in cloud, Oracle Cloud, they did not make more changes to the min-max functionality. Okay, so cloud maintenance is good, but this functionality, there is not a whole lot of change they have implemented. So if you really look at some of the problems in Oracle min-max, the full-blown min-max functionality is not available for EAM. So it is at an organizational level. It is not at a sub-inventory level. So what that really means is you cannot define your min-max and sub-inventories and then roll up to the org and take the demand also. So there is a small gap there, and Oracle left it like that. Okay, and then the min-max cannot work across organizations, which is really good in some of our customer cases. Like for example, if you have a lot of plants within reasonable distance to each other, then you will be able to share the parts. Just by sharing parts, you can down what you buy and how you buy and so on. So that functionality you cannot use with the current maintenance. And the most important thing, which is there for everybody, is the planned orders should be accepted all or none. So this is a major gap in min-max. When you run min-max, first you run the program with the replenishment option equals no. That's a parameter in the min-max program. So you say replenish equals no, and then when you run it, it just produces report. So you look at the report, it may have like 200 lines. And then let us say you want to buy only 5 lines for whatever be the reason. You cannot with the current min-max. So you can do one of these two things. You can take that min-max report, you can mark with a pencil or a pen all the 25 lines you want to buy, and then manually create requisitions with the correct quantities for those 25. That is one option, which I've seen some of our customers prefer to that. And there are other customers, in our case, what they do is they create all the 200 lines. They will run min-max replenish equals yes, and all the 200 lines will be created. It means 200 requisitions will be created, and they will be created incomplete status. And then these guys go there and then they remove, they delete 175 requisitions because they feel this process is easier as opposed to creating manual processes. So either way, it is cumbersome. It is not great. Okay. So that is one of the major things which min-max does not allow you to do. And it is a lot of time consuming effort. And then obviously, it doesn't have a proper way to use the lead time. Though it uses the lead time in its calculations, it does not have a sophisticated way of calculating lead times and using it in the system. Okay, so what kind of enhancement we can do in min-max? If you really see, this is the horizontal line is what I talked about just now. So the item demand comes from the on-hand quantities and from the EAM work orders. Then you typically run the min-max report. So the planned orders are generated. So when the planned orders are generated, they become purchase requisitions, and from purchase requisition it goes through your procurement process. Either they will be blanket releases or purchase orders or whatever it is, and then the item is received and then stock comes back again, right? That is the typical process which you have seen. So what are all the improvements you can do? So the first improvement is a planned order is generated. There are 200 lines, right? So you want to be able to see all the 200 lines and adjust planned order quantities. So there are 200 lines. I'm going to pick up only 25 of them. And I also want to be able to change the quantities. If min-max tells me buy 10, I want to buy 3, let us say, I should be able to put that. So that is one improvement you can do. And then there is also a possibility there. Anyway, I am at a line looking at an item, right? Can I change the min-max level of the item? I think it is too high. Let us say I want to bring it a little bit low. Or I think it is too low because I'm getting too much of stock outs. Can I make it high? So those kind of decisions, can I do it right then and there? So some customers I have seen, they have a form to do this. So that information comes here, they just fill in the form, and after they enter the information, then it goes through this stuff. Then it becomes like purchase requisitions and so on. So those customers are doing a little bit better. Actually, they have managed some piece of the work to be automated, and their stores managers are not unnecessarily deleting requisitions or creating requisitions manually. They're happy a little bit better, right? But that the actual min-max does not stop there. So here I have like 5 points, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as you see. Okay, so I'm going to discuss what those 5 important points are in the next slide. Okay, so the first thing is planned orders should be allowed for changes before creating requisitions. This we talked about. So we provide a user-friendly screen where people can go ahead and change the values, not only of the planned orders and also the min-max values, number 2. But what we do in addition to this is, yeah, it is always better if somebody comes and tells you, hey, you need to buy this much. If they give you a suggestion, okay, just because MinMax says the levels are 10 and 20, you don't want to buy 20. Yeah, you just put the value as 20, but today you don't need 20. Today you may just need 6. So is there some logic to it? Yes, there is a logic to it, and there is a way you can make that suggestion. Okay, that is what we do in addition to simply providing you a user interface. And the second thing is the quantities can be adjusted, the min-max quantities, right? But however, we go through multiple things. For example, an asset criticality, an equipment constraint. Past usage is typically everybody uses that, so you know about that. Plus, like other few things we just consider, and then they will constantly be telling you the right safety stock. So if it is min-max, we are going to tell you in the name of minimum and maximum. If it is some other method, we will say this is a safety stock you need to consider. I'm just bringing that in because our MRO optimizer can work with multiple replenishment strategies. Okay, so in case of min-max, it will be a minimum value and a maximum value, and so on. Okay, and also you should be able to create your asset bombs periodically from item issues. For those which are not already available in the bills of material, those should be created just to keep it update, right? And then the item lead times. This is a major thing because when you run min-max, you typically run for a month, let us say 30 days like that. But let us say you get an item in 2 days. So you order today, the item will be there on Thursday. So if you look at your min-max values, you are kind of like trying to put it for one whole month, which is kind of like, how much ever you try to do it manually, you cannot really do it. So what we do is we have certain methods of bringing the lead times to smaller, and we run min-max in smaller chunks so that like it is able to exactly optimize on a weekly basis. Let us say it should be able to do that. Okay, and then the min-max cannot work across orbs and sub-inventories. This is a feature some customers need because some of the items will be in project mode, right? You buy that item and there may be a project there. So for that project, you have bought the item. You don't want it to be like part of your regular min-max. Then what do we do? So Oracle cannot handle that. So in those cases, you need this functionality. Okay, so these are some of the things which we do. And I'm going to briefly show you our product demo. Just bear with me while I open that screen. Yeah, so I'm already here. Let me refresh this page. So the name of our product is called Kese. This is our platform. Actually, the name of our MRO optimizer is MRO Optimizer, but MRO Optimizer runs on the Kese platform. Kese platform, I just want to take a few minutes and then I want to talk about it because MRO runs on that. So it gives you an idea of what exactly this platform offers. Okay, so this platform is a full-fledged software which runs on Oracle Cloud for those Oracle customers right now. And then, as you can see, like any software has users, and every software has like the roles and responsibilities. So like that, you have multiple responsibilities you can have. I'm going to log in with this particular role called EBS administrator today. And once you log in with the role, you're able to perform certain areas of work. For example, this role can create users, modify roles. It can create like templates or data, or how you want your data to look. That's what we call as template. Okay, and import, export, and so on. So I'm going to this area called the template data. Okay, so in this area, template data, a person may be having access to a lot of data sets. Okay, for the sake of min-max, I'm going to go into this particular thing called the min-max planning data set. Okay, so what this really does is it gives me access because I am choosing this particular template for this role, EBS administrator role. I am provided access. So Kese kind of like controls access of what areas people can see and what areas people cannot see. Okay, that is at a very high level. And at a lower level, once you come inside, you see like some of the fields are not editable, right? But the fields like this are editable. I can go and change the values here and so on. I also have the opportunity at the role level to hide columns instead of, like suppose I don't want somebody to see the item description. I can easily hide that column just by a configuration change. Okay, so like that, we can hide columns. We can make them visible. We can make them non-editable, and also, like all kinds of field level validations. Like if it is a varchar 2, you do certain things. You want to join columns. If it's a date, you do certain things. So all those kinds of things are available. Actually, we can go over that in detail if you are interested. So this is the platform we use for MRO optimizer. So here, this area, you are able to like go and filter and query the columns so that, like you are able to filter the values on the screen, what exactly you want, right? You are also able to see some buttons on top, okay? So for this particular role, all the 6 buttons are made available. For some roles, you may just see 1. For some role, you may see 2, and so on. So all those things are also controllable at the role level. And basically, data can be, produced by one role, and it can be consumed by another role, and so on, right? Typically, it happens in our situation, right? So in those cases, what Kese does is it is able to provide us a workflow. So through the workflow, you are able to pass the data, which is, and again, you can just route the data to different people based on the workflow rules and everything. And then whoever logs in, they will see the data relative to them, and they can take some action on that and so on. Okay. So in this case, what I have done, I actually, before starting the demo itself, I just ran the min-max program in Oracle just by clicking this run min-max. So what it does is, this is an independent software. However, it integrates with Oracle EBS 12.1, Oracle EBS 12.2, and Oracle Cloud. So in order to run min-max or anything, you don't have to log on to Oracle. All you need to do is you need a login here in this screen. You're able to go in and just by clicking run min-max, it runs the min-max in Oracle and gets all those details into this screen. So this is the vision database we have, and it has just 49 records. So by running this min-max, I ran for this organization called EM1, and it got all the records. Okay, and I'm going to show you a couple of things here. So these records, these 49 rows, is what you will see in the min-max report. These are the values you will see in the min-max report. So now you see them in min-max report. Then typically what you do is you choose, and then you go ahead and create the requisition size set in whichever way you want. So what we are doing is right now, let us say you go and choose all the items today, and then you want to look at the planned order summary. Okay. So if you buy all these items today, it will cost you $53,090.63, and you are choosing like 49 order lines. Okay, but I'll talk about this in a minute. The planned order total, I'll talk about this in a second. So what happens is you don't want to do that, okay, because you don't have that much money. So you decide on certain items, what I want to buy today, very important items, right? So if I go here, I go into this particular column called min-max suggestions. Okay, so this min-max suggestion is what optimizer gave us. Running the optimizer, it just went and told me for this particular item, so the suggested order quantity is 2, suggested min-max levels is 2.2. Here it is suggested order quantity 2, min-max levels 3.5. In some cases, it is not suggesting any min-max changes. In some cases, it is even saying there is no order suggestions. Okay. Basically, the optimizer work in a particular way, and wherever it is able to do something, it is giving you some suggestions. Okay, and then it will improve based on the data, because some of this data may not allow the optimizer to do some suggestions. Okay, that is why you are not seeing any suggestions and so on. So as you start using it and as data starts coming in, you will see the min-max suggestions and the suggested order quantity suggestions. Okay, so what I'm going to do is let's go to this line number 8 and line number 10. These two lines I want to focus. Okay, so I'm going here, and basically I was told like get a min-max order quantity of 2 here, but though it said 2, I want to buy, let us say, only 1. Okay, sorry, I think I clicked on a wrong line. I told you 8, but it's line number 9 and line number. Okay, let me choose these 3 lines. Okay, so here on this line, though the suggestion was to get me 2, I'm going to just take 1. Okay, so on the left here you see the quantity min-max. This is what the min-max report is suggesting. So in this case, min-max report is suggesting you buy 10. Okay, whereas what our suggestion tells is, our suggestion is telling us buy 2. Okay, and then keep the min-max levels at 3, 5. It is saying on line number 9, it is saying order quantity 2 and suggested level is 2, 2. Okay, so on this line number 10, min-max is also saying buy 2. Okay, and the actual min-max levels currently are 5 and 5. Okay, but the optimizer told me keep the levels at 2, 2. That is enough. Okay, for some reason you are not like trusting the optimizer. You are kind of thinking, okay, that seems to be too low. So you want to put in your subjective opinion on that. So you can still override it by putting a value of 3 and 4 here and so on. Okay, so the same way here, instead of 2, you want to buy 1, you can do like that, right? So in the second case, it asked you to buy 2, but like, I mean, you're not satisfied. You think 2, maybe 2 less, so you want to buy 4 or 5 or whatever, right? I'm going to put 4 there. Okay, and then it is telling me suggested min-max level, it is saying 2 and 2. Sorry, 3 and 5 it is saying. So if you are taking that suggestion, you can take the suggestion and you can put those values there and so on, right? So once you do this, let us say you have chosen these 3 lines, and then let's look at the planned order summary now. So for these planned order summary, if you go with what min-max was telling you, you will be spending $8,393, whereas the planned order total right now, what you are spending is $3,400. Let us say if you have only $5,000 budget, this may be a good way for you to manage your budget, and then you buy what you want. And then all you need to do is, you have taken these 3 records. All you need to do is you need to submit and approve them. So as I said, you can have multiple roles. So one role may be submitting the record, another role may be taking a look at the record again, and then they will be approving it or whatever. So in this case, like, we are going to do everything, because I just wanted to show you this functionality, how it works. So you can just click on approve. So once you click on approve, it creates 3 requisition lines in your interface table. PO requisitions interface table, all like that, right? Whether it is in the cloud or whether it is in EBS, it is going to create exactly 3 lines. And those 3 lines will go through your procurement process. They will become POs, and then the item comes here. Okay, comes back. So the next time you run min-max, so it is going to look at all these things, and the suggestions may change and so on. Okay, so from this screen you can do all those things, and you can also see, like, what is your planned order history, what are all the things did you order, and what is the requisition number, what is the purchase order number, like that. All that you can see from here itself. You can spawn the concurrent request, you can spawn everything from here itself. You don't have to really go into Oracle to do that, right? Let us say at some point you are really satisfied with this process, then you can even automate it. If you start trusting the optimizer, then you don't have to enter quantities here. You will know, see, the optimizer told me to buy 2, I'm going to just buy 2. Okay, because I don't have really any input to add to this, because I can't do all the calculations sitting here, because I don't know all the things. So I need to trust the optimizer, right? So once you start trusting the optimizer, you don't have to even like do this. You can just automate this part, and then automatically it can buy all the suggested quantities and everything. Still, you can always have a say if you want, but that is one possibility you can do. It can automate to the fullest extent possible. So anyway, I'm going to stop here with this mhm, uh, demo, because there are a lot of other features, but primarily for your sake today, this is the way it improves the current min-max programs, whatever you are using, number one. And the most important thing is this min-max suggestions, which come in terms of safety stock, which come in terms of what you need to buy today. Okay. So I'm going to go back into the presentations. So hold your thoughts and any questions, please write down. We will answer them in the end. So what did we see now? We saw actually some certain changes in traditional min-max. Okay. So that itself is like the first level optimization. It's a major milestone in continuous improvement program, because you're going to update safety stock levels every day. You are touching them and making those changes. That is a major improvement. Okay. And then you are also, oh sorry, just move faster. So you are also able to look at your budgets, prioritize your purchases, and buy exactly what you need, as opposed to what min-max is telling you to buy. And then you are able to get the requisitions out faster. You have more time to look at really valuable things. Okay. So when you start going through this, oops, sorry, it just flies. Okay. So when you start looking at this optimization, and then you implement this optimizer, within weeks, you will start seeing improvements in the stock out situation. But how do you know that you have a stock out? So we need to get a stock out program. Some people say we don't have stock outs. No, that is not true. Every company has stock outs. Every company has stock out. So we need to first define a method of saying what exactly constitutes a stock out, and then you basically measure against that. And within weeks, you will see tremendous improvement in your measurements on that. And when the data quality improves, and like when more data comes in and the quality also improves, the order quantity suggestions will be better, and the safety lock adjustment also are better. I'll show you how in the few slides. So that is the first level of optimization. So the second level of optimization, when you start optimizing, MRO itself it starts becoming part of the integrated supply chain. You remember the slide which I put earlier, where we talked about the MRO supply chain, how it is integrated with the bigger supply chain. So in that, this plays a major part of the integrated supply chain. And what happens is the machine learning models, it starts using your available data. So it doesn't mean every day, like, oh, I need to have 100% clean data. Yeah, if you have 100% clean data, everything will work great. Okay, but nobody has that. So you have some data, right? So we got to start there, and then the optimizer starts learning. So the coolest thing is it learns every day, it learns every week, and then it changes its course, right? That is the basic idea of continuous learning, and like your outcomes will become better and better. So eventually we go into the predictive algorithms. So for predictive algorithms, there are multiple ways of getting them in place. One of the things which companies, some companies have already, they are collecting data through their SCADA systems. And some companies want to implement IoT and sensors and so on. So when you put all of them together, the predictions get deeper and deeper and more accurate, which I'm going to show you in the next slide or so. Okay, but what exactly does machine learning do? Okay, I just wanted to touch a few important points here. When we talk about machine learning, we give the algorithm a goal. We tell the algorithm this is what you need to achieve, and we give it some data, and then it starts working with the data, and then it tries to work towards the goal. So for our problem today, the two major goals are you need to lower your MRO spend. So what does that mean? It means don't buy unnecessarily. Buy exactly when you need. Like we keep telling our kids, right? You buy when you need. You buy, like what you don't want. We all want so many things, but you buy only what you need. We say, right? So exactly that concept holds here. Holds true here. You buy the items when you need them. That itself exactly is going to bring down uh, your cost because you are not holding unnecessary inventory. The more inventory you hold, then the more real estate, and then somebody needs to do cycle counting. Somebody needs to manage that. So that becomes a different part, right? So that is lowering MRO spend. That is the first goal of this machine learning program. So the second goal is to improve the serviceability. What exactly is serviceability? It means when an asset, has failed, okay, you you need you need the part right then and there so that your maintenance team can go and work on that asset. Okay, so the availability of the part and the availability of the personnel and everything for serviceability. That is what the second goal is. Okay, so when we give these two goals, then we have to give some data, right? So when we give some data, what exactly we are looking here? These are some of the features. We have other features also, which are not highlighted here. These are some important data which you will give. See, obviously this one, everybody is able to understand. This is the past usage data. How much have you used in the past? Yes, great. And stockouts. What are the stockout numbers you are getting from time to time? Okay. And what is the current safety stock level you have? That one is also we are giving. And more importantly, the equipment data. One is the criticality of the equipment. And then the bill of material associated with that equipment, if it is available, then the criticality is going to play a major role here. And then the equipment aging, because when you have the equipment aging, you have the failure data associated with it. It may fail more. So that is also an input to the MRO optimizer. Then the production and sales data. This is important because for future, for the next 2 months, for the next 6 months, what are you going to produce? And does that have any impact on the predicting the demand? Because there will be some kind of a number the machine learning will create. It's saying that, okay, if you're going to produce this many widgets, then this asset is used for this many hours, and then it'll kind of like predict all those things. And then it may fail in several hours like that. So that data is important too. And then the maintenance, sorry, it just keeps moving. Then the maintenance data. So when we talk about the maintenance data, you have the reactive work orders, you have PMs. You may have some PMs originally, but you may have a lot of reactive work orders. So that is okay. To start the program with that, that is okay. You don't have to have 100% of everything, right? Then the PDMs and the CBMs, condition-based monitoring. And if you have IoT time series data, what happens? So all this go as input to the program. And then it is not one model. There will be several models which we will, implement based on your data and your company. And then automatically this goal, the machine will work on getting to these two goals. Okay, that is primarily the crux of machine learning and what it does. Okay, so clean data, we have talked about it a lot, and most of the data we are talking about is like the master data, and in our case, item data is very important. So if you have duplicates, there are certain effects onto it. But using a continuous improvement process, the duplicate data can be removed. Okay, and then your data deduplication be happening. And then one important thing is the description-based purchases, right? That is something which people generally, like they'll try to go and search for an item number and they don't get it in the catalog. They'll go and buy a description-based item. So for all you know, it may have a different name here. So we got to look at all that and make the item descriptions standardized. And slowly, this process can happen in a as a parallel process to this machine learning process. Okay, so we talk about data, multiple sets of data, but the most important in this case is item numbers, the manufacturer part, the supplier parts, and the description based uh, purchases, lead times, and bill of materials, and so on. Okay, so I was talking about predictive model. Okay. So in predictive modeling, let's say you have an asset like this, which is a big pump here, right? You have the physical model. So from the physical model, you keep collecting data over a period of time, and then you go to your data-driven modeling. So what data do you collect? So if you really see, like there are so many, these are like little small to read, but there are so many different like important parts which are attached to make this uh, motor. There can be some kind of a measurement from all of them or a few of them, okay, which could be used for doing some studies. So typically we do like noise measurement, right? So once you take the noise data, that data keeps coming. And then you would have some thresholds which says, this is like a major problem. So you send your maintenance team. Or if it is like a critical problem, if it reaches a particular value, then it is critical. So you may have categorized all that. So those come in the physical model. As soon as that problem happens, as soon as that value or threshold is reached, you immediately go and change something and then perform some work there so that you repair the part, so that it works as, like the brand new again, right? Then what happens is that particular information is already available to you. So that using that information, let's say noise measurement data is one of the information, right? We just go and predict a degradation model. When will that actual motor fail? Okay, so for that we can use multiple algorithms, and Kalman filter is one of them. It is an optimal estimation algorithm which can help you to predict a system state in future that cannot be actually measured. Here you cannot measure when something is going to fail, but you are measuring different things like noise and vibrations and all that, but using that you will predict when it will fail. So in this case it says the estimated remaining useful life is 121 hours. So then what do? Okay, it's going to fail in 121 hours. If it fails, this particular part is going to fail. It is going to say that let us say a particular area is going to fail. So then what part do you need? So immediately from the asset bill of material, machine learning can pick up the part. It can put you into your replenishment system. You can order the part, you can bring it here, and then it will be ready whenever you want to do the maintenance. So that is what the predictive maintenance works. And eventually everybody will get there by using these machine learning models. Okay. So obviously this is the last thing which I wanted to say. We always want to measure something and then say how well we are doing. So in this case, the MRO spend is one of the major measures. The stockouts are measures, the asset service levels. Is it improving or going down? Right? So those are the measures. There are multiple other measures which we can see to ensure that our machine learning models are working correct. But the machine learning approach is a holistic approach. It is based on long-term modeling. So it'll have one model today, but after you improve, after you put more of IoT data and predictive data, that model has to be enhanced to a different model and so on. So that's the coolest thing. Okay, so it means you can start somewhere. You can the learning for the model can happen, and the model also will learn and it will become better. So with better and better data and so on. Okay, and that's where you know we need to be like very careful when we measure everything, and then we see how well we are doing. And the teams can be focused on the best outcomes for the future of the company, as opposed to like really going and ordering items. What do I need? When do I need? And calculating those things and so on. So, Will, do you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, thank you so much, Ravi. That was excellent. Thank you for taking us through that demo. So as we were putting this together, we were thinking that the topic of machine learning and how companies can specifically start to build their own ML algorithms and use cases is a topic that deserves its own webinar. So we're going to be hosting a webinar specifically about how to get started in machine learning, about the role that data scientists might play, that a partner might play, your tech stack, whether you need to develop something internally or through a partnership, and about picking use cases, sort of demystifying the entire top to bottom machine learning world for manufacturing and supply chain. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that, because that's going to be a really great way to learn more about this fascinating space.
Okay, thank you. One last word on that. Typically, if you have a data scientist, in order to do a project like this, the person should be knowledgeable on all these MRO on these MRO nuances, whatever I talked about earlier. So in many cases, it helps to bring in partners for specific use cases. Specific partners may be helpful for you. You can use them, and you'll be able to move along in machine learning. Okay. So if you have any questions, please.
Yeah, Ravi, we've got a couple of questions here in the Q&A section. One here is, does the tool look at plant-specific usage data and feed back plant-specific insights, or is it a global analysis?
Yes, exactly. Like how it works is, even today when they are running min-max, okay, it is like plant specific. Okay, so the same way MRO optimizer will bring it down to that level as the plant specific information, and it will be able to give the suggestions based on that. And if they are choosing the option of shared maintenance, okay, one of our customers in Louisville, they have this huge plant where there are around like 10 or 12 plants in the same place, right? They can use something like a shared maintenance, right? So it can kind of like tell them, look at all the 12 plants, but still give you suggestions in like for a specific part and where it is needed. It can say, in plant number 3 you need this, this week in plant number 5 you need this, like that. So accordingly you can make a suggestion. So to answer your question, yes, it is plant specific suggestions.
Great. There's another question here. If our plants are using different maintenance systems, how can we make this work? Would this still be able to integrate?
Yes, that is the beauty of Cafe, right? So Cafe is able to integrate through REST APIs and SOAP APIs and mm, other methods to integrate with all ERP systems. And obviously, we being an Oracle shop, we built those adapters pretty quickly, and then we have them. So if it is a legacy system based on some IBM machine or something like that, absolutely there is no issue at all. Those data can be brought in to like Kese, and the MRO optimizer can work on that. Yes.
Thanks, Ravi. One more question here. Does the recommendation take into account demand coming from work orders or work requests? For example, if there's a non-stock item referenced in a work order, does it tell you in the recommendations that it's coming from a work order?
Basically, min-max suggestions come from work order as well as the order levels in your storeroom, right? So actually I would say yes, we can split the demand. Like you can say demand from work orders, demand from storerooms, like that we can do. But for non-stock, because like there are like a couple of ways Oracle uses the word non-stock. So when you say non-stock, do you say the min value is 0 and max value is 0? It means there is nothing on hand, and when the demand comes, yes, it goes and goes and buys that item. That is like a non-stock too. And that is a truly non-stock thing, right? So where you don't need a sub inventory, you don't need a locator, and it doesn't need a min-max planning. That is like only when it is required. It goes through some kind of a description-based process. Similar to description-based process, it goes. So when you say non-stock, so I would like to make the differentiation. If you can just let me know a little bit better, I would be able to tell you. But wherever you are using this concept of min-max, let us say you use the non-stock item where 0 for min and 0 for max. It means nothing will be in stores until there's and only when a demand is there in a work order, it will be ordered, right? That is also non-stock. So yes, in those cases, it will be able to easily generate for you.
Excellent. All right. Well, that will wrap us up for today. Thank you all so much for taking the time. I know it is a difficult and precarious moment with the coronavirus, so I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to attend the webinar live. Again, a recording will be sent out to everyone who RSVP'd. Please stay safe. If you have any additional questions, you want to see a different part of the MRO optimizer or a more specific case to your situation, please reach out. Contact info is on the screen. And have a great day.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.